Alright, hello and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel, and today I've got a little bit of a different thing I want to share with you. Just a little idea I almost want to discuss with you. I will be doing a full TA deep dive, all of that good stuff, all the live positions on the weekend as I always do, going into the next week, ready for next week. But today, I want to talk about this idea. This concept, has been around for a long time. It's definitely been around for a long time and it's not really gained any traction. So let's get straight into it. I think what's really important to point out here is the best thing about Bitcoin is that we know it's not going to change, right? The code is not going to change. We know the supply is fixed. We know the issuance schedule. This is all the sorts of things that make Bitcoin hard money. We don't want it to change. We don't want it to pull an Ethereum and move to proof of stake or whatever else. We don't want to have some unknown level of issuance. So this change to Bitcoin isn't really an underlying change. It's more of a change in the way we perceive it and keep track of it. So this change would be to stop counting sats and start moving to a bits system. So currently we have one whole Bitcoin trading at around $27,000, and it is comprised of 100 million sats or satoshis, right? And this has been talked about on and off for a number of years. But I think it's time we started discussing this. I want to get your opinion on it. I want you to let me know what you think of this idea. The proposed change would be to move to a new unit of account, and this unit of account is bits. So bits would go 1 million to a Bitcoin. So we take the 100 million satoshis that we've got here and we just lop 2 zeros off the end, and there we have our million bits, right? So there'd be a million bits in a Bitcoin, and of course each bit would be comprised of 100 sats or bit cents. So this would effectively function just in the same way as we're used to using fiat currency, right? So we would have 100 pennies in the pound, we already have that, or we've got 100 cents in the dollar, right? Or in the euro. So just as we have this sort of standard model of account, the 100 in the big unit, we could have the same thing for Bitcoin. We could have 100 sats or bit cents in the bit, and then of course 1 million bits to the Bitcoin. So the question is why? Why do I think this is such a good idea? Why do I think we should start talking about this in the Bitcoin community? Well, the answer is simple. If I asked you right now, what's the price of a sat? Do you know? You probably don't, right? Okay, neither do I, if I'm being completely honest. But by moving to bits, we would start to price Bitcoin in bits as well. So there would always, don't get me wrong, we will keep pricing Bitcoin. A whole Bitcoin will still be worth whatever the whole Bitcoin is, roughly 27K, right? That's not going to change. But what would change is we would have the ability to price Bitcoin in bits. And currently, that would be roughly equivalent to $0.02. So if we had this pricing system, if we started to price bits and say, okay, it's 2 cents for a bit, you would automatically know the price of a sat because it would just be this divided by 100, right? So a 1 million base is actually a lot easier to work with than a 100 million base. And I believe it also solves a bunch of other issues, which I'm going to get into now for you. First of all, it would reflect the fact that we are still very, very early. If we move to bits and it's only 2 cents per bit, it's much easier to see that this has got a long, long way to go before it reaches dollar parity, right? That is, of course, the target. We want these bits to reach dollar parity. So there's still plenty of upside here from 0.02 up to $1, which is roughly 50x, by the way. Remember, it's very easy to look at the price of Bitcoin if you're not in the space already, right? If you're a new person potentially looking at getting into Bitcoin, I'm sure you would have probably experienced this before when you explain this to your friends or family, and they look at the price and they go, well, it's $27,000. I can't afford that. Or it's $27,000. I'm better off looking at altcoins, right? Because the altcoins, they haven't reached that price yet. Bitcoin, it can't go higher. It's already gone from zero all the way up to $27,000. So by moving to a bit system, we'd be able to say it's only 2 cents. There's a long way to go before it reaches dollar parity. So it removes this idea that Bitcoin is too expensive and it just can't go any higher. Obviously, if you understand Bitcoin, you know this is false. But the truth is, new people coming into the space, I've seen this personally in friends and family. That's one of the first things they say. Well, how much is a Bitcoin? 27K. Well, that's far too expensive. I can't afford that. So it would get over this hurdle. And I don't know about you, but I've had this a number of times as well. When I say to people, well, it's okay. You don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. You can accumulate bits of a Bitcoin. You can accumulate sats. And then they go, well, yeah, I'd rather just buy Pepe coin or whatever this altcoin is, right? That's just my experience. I'm sure you've probably had a similar one. People love alts, remember. They seem to rather hold hundreds or even thousands or millions of altcoins, of whole altcoins, rather than own a fraction of a Bitcoin. And this is sad, but it's also true. Another advantage of moving to bits is that it could stem the impact of media FUD. So when we get a FUD campaign, when we get some bad news come out, it's quite routine for Bitcoin to experience multiple thousands of dollar pullbacks, right? And again, this kind of scares investors that are eyeing up Bitcoin, wondering whether they should dip a toe in, wonder whether they should get a allocation to Bitcoin. They see the media FUD, they see that Bitcoin has shed $3, $4, $5, $6, $7,000 in a pullback, and they're often frightened by this. But by pricing in bits, we would simply see us go from 2 US cents down to 0.185, say, and then back up to 0.0194. So it doesn't seem as bad, even though the percentage drawdown would be the same, right? And the reason for this is because the price will still be trading at $0.02 per bit after you round to make it fit the US dollar currency, right? So it will just seem more stable. It will seem more stable even when we undergo these pullbacks. Or how much is a bit? Well, it's still trading at around 2p a bit. Okay, happy days. So this should, in theory, be far less jarring to investors who are not yet accustomed to the volatility. So whilst this idea is quite a simple one, whilst it doesn't really change Bitcoin, I think this would, in my opinion at least, help onboard new users. I think people will be much more ready to step in and accumulate a bunch of bits, knowing that they're only 2p a bit, right, or 2 cents a bit. It would also give them the ability to hold multiple bits, even hundreds, thousands of bits. They could accumulate thousands of bits, and then they could sit there and say, I'm doing well. I've got my bits, right? And I know there's a lot of upside because we're nowhere near dollar parity yet. It would also, of course, help everyone, including the people already in the space, focus on the bigger picture. We are still early. $1 million Bitcoin price is coming at some point in the future. And we can see that quite clearly here. Since we're only at 2 cents per bit, we have a 50x to go before we even reach dollar parity. And there's nothing to say it has to stop there, remember. We could certainly see multiple dollars per bit with a longer term investment horizon. And of course, most importantly, it doesn't actually change Bitcoin. We're not talking about changing the monetary base. We're not talking about changing the code here. We're not talking about anything apart from the way we perceive it, the way we price it, and the way we keep count of it. One Bitcoin is still one Bitcoin. There is still always going to be 21 million, and that's the end of it. But it is my personal opinion that moving to pricing into bits would help onboard new investors, would get over these hurdles of Bitcoin is too expensive, it can't go much higher, and it would keep our minds focused on the bigger picture, which is of course dollar parity. So let me know if you like this idea. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to know if you think this is a good idea. To be really clear, I'm not proposing that we scrap pricing whole Bitcoin. We will still have the Bitcoin price. We will still have the $27,000 price on the Bitcoin charts. It's just we will add an additional price of bits, and that will, in my opinion, like I said, make it much easier to keep track of, make it much easier to count, and hopefully to handle in the future going forward. So let me know what you think. In the meantime, enjoy your weekend. I'll be back on Saturday as always with the deep dive technical analysis, and I'm your boy Camel. Take care from me. All the best. Cheers. Bye.